ready to rock.
Ready to rock?
Yeah.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go!
This mountain is a challenging mountain. There's close to 25,000 feet of vertical gain and drop, which going down those steep hills is, to me, more difficult than the ups. They're both hard. They're both crazy. There's rivers to cross. You never know if it's going to be muddy or if it's going to be hot or rain and pour at night and hot and humid during the day. The routes are a lot of fun. You have to choose your footing exactly through all the route. There's boulders to scramble up and down that are slippery. Honestly, all of those challenges make me smile. I like it. And then you've got the birds singing and the bamboo forest that you're running through and the lights just shining. It's brutal and challenging and amazing all at the same time. Officially, I ran my first ultra marathon this weekend. I had run a few marathons before, and I never wanted to do an ultra because I had bad knees and it always worried me. I got into running as a kid, and then I continued to trail run when I got into Hawaii. The Hurt was one of the groups I found when I very first moved here, and they were one of the first activities I started to get involved with. I already enjoyed trail running, and it was a great way to learn more about the Aina and learn the trails and the areas and have fun with a group of people that had other things and had that in common with me. I fell in love with the community and the trails through the Hurt. Was living in Oregon this year. I took a transfer for work, and I decided to run the Hurt 100 this specific year, probably partially because I was away from the community and I wanted to do it a challenge on my own and still have a little connection to the trails out here that I love so much. Put my name in pretty last minute, and then they drew me. Then I was in. So Uloha helped set me up with a new running vest and some good gear, some good trail running shoes and socks and nutrition. And then it was up for me to find a schedule that worked for me. I had a pretty strong background because I had trained with Justin of Uloha, and I had been around the Hurt community and seen it, and I paced 2 people and volunteered, so I was well familiar with what was involved with it. I was actually training for a 50K before I got into the Hurt, and I injured my foot training for that. So I decided to drop out of the 50K and only focus on Hurt so that I could recover from that and be strong for the 100-miler. So I had seen physical therapists, and I did a combination of strength training to make sure that I was taking care of my joints and my muscles, mobility, and of course, tons of running. The climate, of course, is very different out in Oregon. I was running through tons of snow, but honestly, it was great resistance training to run through that. There were mountains, dirt trails. There was still good terrain to train on, even though it was cold and snowy. So the way the run works is you start at the nature center. Basically, you start by going up this steep hog's back. You end up making your way up to the top of the Kolau mountain range. Then you have to go down another steep trail to Manoa, down at the bottom of the mountain range on the other side. Check into your aid station, get some water. They kick you out, and you're back up to the top of the mountains, across a gorgeous ridge, back down another steep trail to your next aid station. Before you get there, there's this river that you have to cross. I fell in it twice because you're tired. And then they kick you back out. You go back up the steep terrain to the top of the mountain again. You're still on loop 1. You run across the top of the mountain range, and then you come back down to the nature center again. Meanwhile, the routes are crazy. The rocks are crazy. You're having to scramble down, use your hands in some parts. You get back down and everyone cheers for you, and you go back out and you do it 4 more times for a total of 5 in the end. In the morning of the race, I felt great. I was having a good time. I was feeling strong. My first 2 laps, I felt pretty strong, pretty good, pretty happy. Going into the third lap, I felt happy, but going up that steep hill from Manoa to the top of the mountains again, I didn't have enough protein, and I was craving protein, and I started to feel it, and I never fully recovered, and I started to feel worse and worse. Sometime during the fourth lap, I couldn't eat anymore. I felt like I was nauseous, and if I ate, I would be sick. I was drinking lots of water. That was almost all I could get in me. Eventually, I found out I could eat watermelon. Sometime during the fourth lap, my knees started to really slow me down, and then that plays with you mentally too. My body was feeling nauseous and depleted, and my knees were slowing me down so much going down those hills and in so much pain that you start questioning how fast you're gonna go. And I was just feeling awful, and I was in tears. But my team that I had out here was amazing. Justin Brackett was one of my pacers from Uloha. He kept me going.
Got to find a reason things went wrong. Got to find a reason why my money's all gone.
There was a lot of good people supporting me and who believed in me, and they helped me to believe in myself too. So I kept through it, and despite the challenges, made it to the end. A great accomplishment to know that what I could really push through and do. 36 hours is the cutoff, and my time was close to 35 hours and 25 minutes, something about that. Throughout my entire training, I was focused on finishing. I just wanted to finish. I hadn't ever run 100 miles before, and I didn't know really how it would go. I was doing my best with the knowledge I had, and I wanted to finish. When I was feeling really strong, there was a little moment that thought, maybe I can get, 30 hours. That would be awesome. But really, my real motivation throughout the whole thing was to finish. The Hurt volunteers were awesome. I am so appreciative of them. I would come into an aid station, and they were asking what they could do for me, what did I need, filling up my water. The food they provided was amazing. It wouldn't happen without the volunteers, and it's not only the physical support that they give you, but their emotional support too. They cheer you on, and they're awesome. I learned a ton from this race. Yes, I learned a ton. As far as my racing, I learned more about my nutrition, just things that I should have been watching earlier on in the race, my protein, things like that. I learned a lot about myself, my body, and what I am capable of doing. It's hard to put into words, but going through that much, both physical and emotional, it's a roller coaster, and you really learn about yourself a lot. And you learn about your community and the great support you have out here too, which is also incredible to know. I'm still taking it in and reflecting and figuring out all the lessons that I'm taking away from this are still coming to me now. When I went into this, I thought, I just want to do this once, one and done, and then focus on my rock climbing, focus on my snowboarding. I have other things I want that I like. But now that I've done it for my own personal self, I want to do better, take note of the lessons I learned and see if I can improve on them. So now I want to do it again. If there's a challenge, such as a 100-mile run or something, everybody's different, but if there's a big challenge that means something important to you, for whatever reason that is, you should go for it.